Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into this video today. I really appreciate it. So today I'm gonna talk about a very controversial topic. So before I begin, I just want to say that whatever I'm gonna say here is just my opinion. And yes, some people are gonna most of you might even disagree with me, and I respect it. You don't have to agree with me, this is just my opinion. You are free to disagree with me. So I just want to put that up first. So let's begin. So this video will be talking about both Lucasfilm as well as MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? So I just want to say, when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I will not be talking about X-Men as well as Venom and things like that, because I'm aware that they are trying to bring them into the MCU, but I just won't be talking about them yet. Maybe in future videos I will talk about them. So that's that. Both Marvel and Lucasfilm are run by the same company, which put a copyright claim in one of my most viewed videos as well as my most liked video ever. Thanks for that, by the way. And the popularity of both the MCU as well as Star Wars has been dwindling over the years for various reasons, of course. Evidence, we can look at the box office of their latest projects as well as how unpopular their streaming service shows are, like She-Hulk and The Mandalorian Season 3. They are not very popular now. So for Star Wars, we can look at The Last Jedi. It has such a massive box office drop from the first film, The Force Awakens, in the sequel trilogy. The Force Awakens earned like $2 billion around that, and The Last Jedi earned about $700 million less, around there, which is a big drop. So showing that they are losing the fans. And The Rise of Skywalker made barely over $1 billion, which shows that they lost half the money from the first film in the sequel trilogy. Solo, a Star Wars story, flopped. Granted, The Force Awakens as well as Rogue One still did pretty well at the box office and was also liked by many fans, myself included, so that's that. Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons were well received, had a lot of praise. The third season was meh, like there were some good episodes and some bad episodes. And then there was the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and Boba Fett, which were okay, but the Andor show was pretty good though. It really was pretty good. But you can tell that people are slowly losing interest when it comes to future Star Wars projects. And now let's look at Marvel. Ant-Man 3 flopped. Shang-Chi did not do so well at the box office. The Eternals didn't do so well at the box office. Black Widow also, same thing, didn't do so well. And recently Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 just released in theaters. Let's see how that movie does at the box office. And even the Marvel shows on Disney Plus do not have a positive reaction for them. The same can be said for Marvel movies like Doctor Strange 2 and Thor: Love and Thunder. They did well at the box office, but the reception to these movies and shows were not very well. So that's that. So today I'm going to discuss whether these two franchises, which have provided so much blockbusters over the years, have any more hope moving forward due to their recent projects stumbling and having poor performances. And also I'm going to share the reasons why. So my short answer is yes, there is still hope. Although I would say that Marvel has more hope than Star Wars does. So let's look at the first reason, leadership. Right? The leadership. The person who's in charge of Marvel, Kevin Feige, and the person in charge of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. Marvel has good leadership. I believe Kevin Feige has been a part of the MCU since Phase 1. And even before Phase 1, he was a part of Marvel. He's worked in Spider-Man 2 and many other Marvel films. And up till Phase 3, the MCU was solid. And it was all thanks, and one of the main reasons was thanks to the great leadership by Kevin Feige himself. Just a few missteps here and there with Thor: The Dark World as well as Captain Marvel. Actually, Captain Marvel did very well at the box office, just that it wasn't very well received. So it was only at Phase 4 they started stumbling and screwing up because of a couple of reasons, but mainly because they started to prioritize quantity over quality. They were making so much movies and Disney Plus shows that the VFX artists were overworked. They needed a break. I think what Marvel needs right now is to take a break, give all the VFX artists a break, as well as replan for the next phase. and this time prioritize quality over quantity, which has been what they've been doing up till phase 3, and also build up the momentum as well for a new phase. Like the first 3 phases were like the Infinity Saga. For the next ones, build up as well, because phase 4 didn't look like it was going anywhere. So there's that. And phase 5, I hope they start building up to somewhere. Phase 4 had a lot of Disney Plus shows that were very random, like She-Hulk and Hawkeye, and it felt very random, the things that were coming out. So it didn't look like they were starting on something or building up to something, so they needed that as well. And not just the VFX artists who need a break, the audience needs a break as well. Like, they can't keep watching so many things. There's just so much things right now to watch. So there's that. So I would say yes, because Kevin Feige is a very capable person. If he can revert back to what he did so well with phase 1 to phase 3, I think with good leadership, Marvel can still move forward in future projects and finally get some box office success and blockbusters that they had in the past. So Marvel still has hope. Lucasfilm, on the other hand, they really need to replace Kathleen Kennedy. As long as she's there, I don't see any hope for Lucasfilm when it comes to leadership. One of the problems with the sequel trilogy was that it clearly did not have a plan like Marvel had. J.J. Abrams went to make The Force Awakens, giving a clear pathway for future sequel trilogy films to follow. And then Rian Johnson came in and did not follow because he wanted to subvert expectations, as well as it was very messy. So he went on to do his own thing and it became very messy. And not just messy, he did certain things in order to subvert expectations, and people were not happy with that. Also, it is very apparent Kathleen Kennedy also did not follow the notes given by George Lucas. In one of her earlier interviews, she said that George gave them some notes and things like that, and they're going to follow it, they're going to respect it because it's his own thing that he created, Star Wars.
Story treatments of 7, 8, and 9 and a bunch of other movies, and obviously we have hundreds of books and comics and everything you could possibly imagine. So, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy,
and then in a later interview, she says that George Lucas didn't give any notes and whatsoever.
Well, actually, George Lucas never wrote a script for 7, 8, or 9.
Clearly, she lied there, but I understand what she's trying to do from a business perspective. She wants to save her movie and things. So, but still, we need a better leader at Lucasfilm. She's also clearly more concerned with pushing an agenda with the Force is with female or something, and she's actually more concerned with pushing this agenda rather than telling good stories. And she screwed up Star Wars so bad that now she might end up screwing up Indiana Jones. Yes, Indiana Jones 5 is coming soon, and it is very clear that they use a lot of CGI, and the articles I'm reading up upon it lean towards the negative side more, which does not look so good. I mean, James Mangold is directing it, he's a great director, so I'm still looking forward to it, but the reviews I'm reading for it and the CGI is putting me off. But let's just see how it goes for now. So for Lucasfilm, unless they change leadership, I don't see any hope for them when it comes to the point of leadership. Also, I'm told that side note, this is additional information, side note, I'm told that Lucasfilm and Studio Ghibli are doing some kind of joint collaboration, and I have to say, if that is really true, I just have to say that please keep the greatness of anime away from the current Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm might just put their agenda on Ghibli projects now, and I do not want that. I do not want this to spread to anime, so keep it away, please. Thanks. Now, my second point, the cast and crew working on the projects. Marvel has recently been selecting very new people to do their jobs, or people who have done smaller things, right? So Jessica Gao, one of the writers of She-Hulk, she's very new to the job of writing for movies. I mean, I don't think she has done much projects. Like, I've seen her, what she has done on Google, I've looked up upon it. She hasn't done much. Like, she really hasn't done much. She's just new to the job, so I'd rather they bring in someone experienced to do it, so there's that. And then the Eternals director, Chloe Zhao, looks like okay, I get that she's an Oscar winner. Okay, it's great that they brought in an Oscar winner, but she's only done smaller projects in the past, and to suddenly thrust her into this big budget Marvel film with so many cast members, and that just doesn't seem like a good idea, as it is not up in her expertise to do so, you know. So, and also going back to my previous point on Jessica Gao, speaking of her, she literally wrote the internet Marvel trolls to be in in her show.
Was. And the fact that we were able to very accurately every single time predict exactly what the toxic reaction was going to be, like, it's both sad but also goes to show like how like tired and unoriginal these guys are, you know.
And that sounds dumb to so many levels. So I don't think you should be hiring these kind of people. I think Kevin Feige has to start hiring people who have experience and people who start listening to the fans, respecting the fans, as well as listening to him as well, and taking in notes and suggestions from him as well. So that's that. Oh yeah, and for Lucasfilm, why on earth would you hire Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant? Like, why? And for those who don't know what I mean, Lucasfilm hired a person called Leslie Headland, who worked for Harvey Weinstein at some point as a personal assistant. Like, she worked for him for about like 5 years, and at some point she was his personal assistant. And the project, oh yeah, by the way, the project she's a part of is called Star Wars Acolyte. I have no idea what it's going to be about. It'll come out next year. But still, why? What were you thinking? Why on earth would you hire her? And yeah, both companies at this point are hopeless for this point. Like, they need to hire better people. And Lucasfilm, like, please, hire better people. Indiana Jones 5 will be directed by James Mangold. A good choice there. They brought in a director who has experience and has background in making big blockbuster movies like Logan and things like that. So great job there. So let's see how that goes. And James Mangold also has experience in directing great action films, Logan, you know, and things like that. So they did a good job with the hiring there. But there's a lot of CGI and controversy surrounding this movie. I'm still willing to give it a chance, but hopefully they don't screw it up. Like, I don't think anybody asked for Indiana Jones 5, but hopefully they don't screw it up. And now let's look at my third point, which is future potential, right? I believe Lucasfilm here takes the cake. Lucasfilm can expand upon their Star Wars universe, and yeah, they definitely cannot tell another Indiana Jones film or make another Willow story. But another thing they can do is they can tell original stories, which the MCU cannot do so, because the MCU can only tell stories that are based on the Marvel comics, which is going to be very limited for future potential. Because, you know, maybe if, because there's so much things that you can adapt from the comic book, like at some point you're going to run out of source material. Like, maybe if the comics actually gave new characters rather than telling the I don't know how many adaptation of a Spider-Man story again and again, or any other characters, keep on giving them new adaptations, I think they might have hope here. But they just keep telling the same character story over again and again. Like, they need to come up with new characters. Yeah, so that's why I think that, you know, Marvel does not have an advantage here, has a disadvantage here in fact. Now let's look at my final point, which is the fan base. Let's face the facts, people are becoming less and less interested in Marvel and Star Wars now. Box office drops, horrible reviews, fans expressing their discontent, etc. For Lucasfilm, they have to listen to their fan base more. Like, which I believe they will not, as long as Kathleen Kennedy is there, because I believe she's more concerned in pushing her agenda, literally. But when Lucasfilm leadership does change, I believe the fans will rejoice once again and give Star Wars, if they ever make new Star Wars project, will give Star Wars a new chance. So that's that. And get back to Lucasfilm projects. And let's hope that, you know, the new leadership respects the fans as well. Marvel just needs to take a break, right? They just need to take a break, regroup, give their VFX artists a break also, give the audience a break also, regroup, come up with a new plan, but this time a plan that's building up to something from the beginning, rather than the phase 4, which literally was going nowhere at all. So that's that. And also, I think if Lucasfilm is going to change leadership and come up with new Star Wars project, I think they should do it sooner, because then again, most of the, let's just say the bulk of the fan base for Star Wars is a older generation. Like, I don't see much younger generation, like children, teenagers, growing up and saying I'm a Star Wars fan, because Star Wars has been very popular in like a long time ago, and then suddenly you bring back sequel trilogy, but it doesn't. Let's just say that Marvel has a more younger demographic in the fan base, while Star Wars has more older demographic in the fan base. So they should come up with new Star Wars content and try and bring in younger generation to watch it. And yeah, so that's that. Those are my thoughts, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts. And see you next time. If you want to see any other video, let me know in the comments as well. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys are always the best.